Welcome back to the channel. It's Matthew Decker along with my business partner, Aaron Vincent. We spend a lot of time talking about cash value life insurance, specifically on this channel. And we thought we'd branch out today, specifically as it relates to the interest rate environment that we see ourselves in. There's other products that we specialize in that we haven't talked much about, and we thought that it was probably time to discuss the four-letter word annuities. So, Aaron, why do you think that annuities oftentimes get such a bad rap?
Yeah, there's no question that they often do. There's probably a lot of reasons, but I think that maybe the biggest one, the one that we hear most often and that we're often trying to explain the most, is that I think a lot of people have a misconception that an annuity is a product where you basically trade a big pile of money that you've saved up, and in return, you just get a really small monthly check.
Right.
And that's it. And that's the annuity. And that's got its pros and cons, right? And one of the major cons is like, well, what if I don't last long enough to get at least my money back? You know, the annuity company wins. We hear that sometimes too. And so I think that's probably the most fundamental reason, or the one that we hear a lot. And it's just simply not true in a lot of cases.
Yep. So you say oftentimes people will think that an annuity is they give some insurance company a lump sum of dollars, and then that money's gone to them. It's dead to them.
Yeah.
That money's dead to them.
Yep.
What they get in return is some income stream. Now, that income stream is going to last as long as they live,
right?
Which is good. It's going to be guaranteed, which is also good.
Yeah.
But the income is all they get. It's never going to go up. And if they die, it's gone. There's nothing left over.
Right.
I would say that's the common
and even
viewpoint.
And probably even the name, annuity kind of sounds like annual, kind of sounds like just a cycle of things that kind of leaves the investment or the growth opportunities or the all the different ways to customize this for a certain person's needs. You might misunderstand just from the name what it really isn't doing.
Yep, I agree. You're going to want to stay to the end of this video, because what we just described, this annuity product where you give a lump sum of money, get a guaranteed payout, nothing's left over. That is a real type of an annuity.
Yeah, sure.
That's called an immediate annuity, or a single premium immediate annuity. And I don't think either of us has recommended a single premium immediate annuity for at least 10 to 12 years.
It's been years, and it's a very niche, not that they're bad, but just a very niche need that doesn't come across our desk very often.
Correct. And so the reason I say you should stick around to the end is because that's probably the mental picture that most people get in their minds when they think of an annuity, and yet it's probably the smallest segment of the annuity marketplace.
Absolutely.
By a wide margin.
Yep.
So we're going to go through some of the other product lines that are all annuities, but they are not the trade a lump sum of dollars for an income stream with no liquidity, nothing left over, none of that. We're going to go through the actual products that exist right now in today's interest rate environment. I shouldn't say that. We're going to go through the types of products that exist right now in today's interest rate environment. And we're going to tell you what they're good for and what they're not good for. And we're going to use this is kind of an annuities 101. We're going to use this first video as a launch pad to do product reviews on all the policies that are going to be seen in, all the policies we're going to go through today.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the actual types of annuities
let's do it.
That exist. So we've broken it down into three main categories. I'll give you the categories now, and we'll kind of share the screen here so that you can follow along with us. The first type of an annuity is going to be an accumulation-based annuity. Aaron, tell us what is an accumulation annuity?
Yeah. So just like that kind of terminology would describe, the goal of this kind of a product is to grow that asset. You start off in this annuity product with X amount, fill in the blank, say it's $100,000. And your goal for the stated period of time, 5, 7, 10 years, whatever it may be, is to grow that $100,000 to a bigger number, to accumulate.
Now, why would you do that in an annuity?
I think the biggest reason to do it in an annuity is because of some of the other features involved with some annuity products, the ones that we often talked about. And that is the safety, the guarantees, the downside protection. I mean, to think about in this example, an investment product where you can get potential gains each year, grow that asset, but have absolute protection from, guarantees against any sort of market losses, any sort of backwards, any losses at all.
And obviously that would only apply to fixed annuities.
Correct.
There are some forms of variable annuities that would not give you that protection. But what we're talking about today, when we talk about an accumulation annuity, we're talking about a fixed annuity that is going to have a 0% floor. And all that means is no matter what happens in the market, if you put in $100,000, the next year, you'll have $100,000.
No matter what happens in the markets or in interest rates or anything else, unless you take money out, in that example, you would never have less than $100,000. There are products like that exist. That's what you're talking about.
And that's an accumulation annuity.
Yep.
And it is a far cry from, in fact, it's not even playing the same game as the initial product we described, trading a lump sum of money for an income stream. There is no income stream.
Big contrast. Yeah.
There is no income stream on these accumulation annuities. You could, I suppose, annuitize the annuity, but hardly anybody ever does.
Yeah, you wouldn't buy an accumulation annuity for an income stream.
Correct.
We'll tackle that in a minute.
So how does that compare to, let's say, the most common, I don't want to use the word compare. What's the major difference between an accumulation annuity that is a grow your asset safely? That's why you're doing it. You want to grow your money safely.
Yep.
What's the difference between that and what most people would be using to grow their money safely, which is more of like a bond, a bond portfolio?
Yeah.
What's the major difference in your mind between those two? I have one that I'm thinking of, but I'm curious to see what you would say.
Well, yeah, there are a lot of differences. Probably the major one of the reason why we would use these products in some scenarios is, contrary to what some may understand, you can actually lose money in a bond portfolio.
Tell us how.
Yeah. So bonds react very specifically to interest rate environments. So in an environment like we've been in recently, where interest rates are increasing, the value of that bond typically is going to go down.
So you're saying that a bond would be inversely correlated to interest rates.
Correct.
Interest rates go up, the bond value goes down.
Exactly.
Interest rates go down, the bond value goes up.
Correct. Yeah. Now, that's, again, just to be really clear, that's not me bashing bonds.
No.
I mean, we manage a lot of money in bonds, and there's a benefit to it.
But it is how they work.
But it's exactly how they work. And you've got some clients who say, you know what, I want this amount of money in my portfolio just protected. Mm-hmm. I don't want to ever lose money with this segment of my investments. And you just simply can't do that in a bond portfolio. You can't.
Now, I'll add to that. Some of you are going to say, well, yeah, but the bonds pay an income stream, that's totally a fair point. But keep in mind, stay with us here, stay focused. Don't get off track. We're talking about an accumulation annuity.
Right.
So we're juxtaposing an annuity designed to accumulate dollars safely opposed to or next to a bond portfolio whose goal is not income. A bond portfolio whose goal is safe accumulation. So you're totally right. A bond is going to have an income payout, but that's not the comparison we're making here. So let's just stay on track. We'll get there. Don't worry, we'll get there, but let's stay on track.
And to just be super clear on that and be transparent, in a increasing interest rate environment like we just described, the value of the bond does go down like we just described, but sometimes the coupon or the interest payment, the income payment, as Matt just mentioned, it can go up. So there is a benefit to the interest paying on the bond. So we want to be very transparent. But again, going back to the accumulation goal,
if you want income,
nothing exactly right.
Then maybe but if you want accumulation, that's not really that's not really what we're talking about. And so we've got this broken down. I mean, you can see here, we have it broken down into 3 separate types of accumulation. And obviously I've got all of these squiggled out. The reason I've got all of these squiggled out, these are actual products that exist right now. And this is the basis that we're going to use to do product reviews. So as we do a review, we will reveal the products in these separate categories. Every single year, I mean, you can see this is Q3, we're into Q4 now, so we're doing the analysis now. Every single quarter, we reevaluate all these different buckets. So we have accumulation products, accumulation annuities, and we've got it broken down into conservative products, moderate products, and aggressive products. And there's a best in class, or maybe 2 or 3 for each of those subcategories. And so you just need to know there's way more than just a trade your dollars for an income stream.
Yep.
There's all types of options. That's the accumulation annuity. Typically, the good ones are going to come with no fees, and they're going to be positively correlated with interest rates relative to bonds. inversely correlated to interest rates. So in a rising interest rate environment, an accumulation annuity can be a really nice play for safe accumulation of your assets. And you don't have to worry about your value going backwards if interest rates continue to go up. So the next two types of annuities that we're going to talk about are the types of annuities that are going to generate an income stream. We're going to start with the easiest one, which is on the far right here. And these are just our guaranteed annuity payouts. And we've got this broken down. What's the best product? Well, it depends. It depends on how long you're going to defer the income stream. Because keep in mind, we are not talking about this single premium immediate annuity where you give 100 and you get an income stream and that's it. That's the end of the game. It's just a matter of how long you live. We're not talking about that. That's not on anywhere on this list. Okay. Those annuities are not on this list. So we've got it broken down into deferring 1 to 4 years, deferring 5 to 9 years, and then if you're deferring longer than 10 years. So Aaron, what do we mean when we say deferring and we've got these different years kind of bracketed out?
Yeah.
What is that? What's deferring
Very
in
important.
a guaranteed annuity?
Yeah, very important. So again, guarantees are still there. No losses, no market losses are going to affect this at all. But you're deferring to delay. I can defer, delay, same thing. The income that you're going to receive from that annuity, and typically the longer you defer for, the bigger the income payment is. The longer you let it bake, the more time it has, the more of an income stream you're going to get. So the earlier you start this kind of planning, if you want to retire at 65, yeah, if you can, and you like this type of product for your portfolio, ideally you want to buy one at 55, and it's going to defer for 10 years, then your income stream can start. That's going to be much more of a robust income payment than if you only deferred it 1 to 4 years, for example. So it really just is a matter of how long do you want to wait from buying the annuity product until you begin to receive those payments.
Yep. So again, these are annuities that do generate an income, but they don't generate an income right away. Let's talk about how it's guaranteed. So we have these different deferral periods, 1 to 4 years, 5 to 9 years, 10 plus. This isn't going to be true of every single product that fits into the guaranteed income portfolio, but it's as true as it can be without talking about the hundreds of products that exist in this space. Most of these companies, if you give them $100,000 or any amount, $200, $1 million, $2 million, they're going to say, okay, well, if you're deferring for in this 1 to 4 year period, the way our product works is you give us the $500,000 and we're going to guarantee that your $500,000 increases every single year by 7% or even 10% or 15%. They can say whatever they want, okay? So they're going to guarantee that your dollars increase every single year by some stated amount. That's commonly referred to as a roll-up.
Yep.
Now, unfortunately, a lot of really bad, I don't even know what to call them, people who...
Salespeople?
Yes. People who only have hammers in their tool belt.
Yeah.
They sell annuities solely, and they use these roll-ups that we just talked about, guaranteed 7% increase every single year, and they don't tell the full picture.
Right. They only have hammers because everything's a nail.
Yeah.
Right.
And so you got to be careful if you're dealing with someone who's telling you, you get a guaranteed 10% every single year. You give us $500,000, you get a guaranteed 10% every single year. Okay, that is true. Multiplied by half.
Right. And
that's a half truth.
Right. And you're going to go there, but it's only true on a certain category of the money, right?
Yeah. So the way that that's going to work is they're going to guarantee that, well, let's just, let me try to just do this here as best I can. Let me try to do this as best I can. In these guaranteed annuities, you're going to have two values. You're going to have the surrender value, and then you're also going to have the income value. Apologies for my handwriting. The surrender value, that's what you can walk away with. You want to cancel the policy? That's the money that you receive back. Surrender value. Pretty self-explanatory. The surrender value is not what is growing by the guaranteed 7 or 10% every single year.
That's huge.
If you're working with an agent that says, this annuity is going to guarantee you X% every single year, I'm here to tell you that is almost surely not being applied to your surrender value, which means you can't ever walk away with it.
Right. This is, just to be crystal clear, we hear this maybe weekly, all the time. I bought this annuity from my financial advisor, from whoever, And I was told that it's guaranteed to grow at 10% per year.
Half-truth.
So if I've got a $500,000 annuity, it should grow by at least $50,000 a year. You know, obviously it increases with the percentages, but and then at the end of a stated period of time, 5, 7, 10 years, they do the math, and that should be worth X. And then they're frustrated, really frustrated, when they learn that is not at all how it works. And that's what you're getting at now.
Not only is it not worth X, but it was never going to be worth X.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you see someone say it's guaranteed to grow at this percent every single year, what they're not telling you, most likely, is that guaranteed growth only applies to the income value. Okay. It only applies to the income value. So what's the income value? The income value is a phantom number that only matters once you turn on your income. So it'll work like this. Let's say you put in $500,000 and you're going to get a guaranteed 10% per year, which means your $500,000 is going to grow to $1 million in 7. This is now your income value. So Aaron, can I cancel my policy and take my $1 million out?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I can't.
There's no such thing.
There is no such. The $1 million
It's a
is fake.
phantom value.
It doesn't exist.
Yep.
It's not real.
It only exists if you use that income rider.
And the way that it works is they're going to say, okay, on these policies, you're going to have a guaranteed payout rate. So it might have some schedule like this, like between 50 to 60.
Age, right?
Yeah, between age 50 to 60, your payout rate, I'm just making up numbers. Your payout rate is 3%. Between ages 60 to 65, your payout rate's 3.5%. And 65 plus, your payout rate is 4%. Okay, I'm totally making up numbers. This is not a real product. Totally made it up. So the reason it's a half truth is because it is guaranteed to grow at 10% a year. Your income value is guaranteed to grow at 10% per year. So you notice it's a half truth two ways because there's a surrender value and an income value. Okay. It only applies to one of the two, but then at the same time, it's only one variable in the equation.
Yeah.
The guaranteed growth is only one variable in the equation. The other variable is what's your payout rate? Okay. So if your $1 million, if your 500K grows to $1 million on your income value in 7.2 years, because you're guaranteed this 10% growth every single year, and you turn on your income at 65, the $1 million is now multiplied by 3.5%, which means your guaranteed income is $35,000 a year.
Yep.
That is the guaranteed 10% growth that you're getting every single year. It only applies to the equation that generates or that tells you what your guaranteed income is going to be. I think that's pretty clear.
I think it's very clear. And I think this is unfortunately one of those, the details that's often skipped by the pseudo advisor salesperson that you referenced earlier. Often these things are described as, hey, listen, after 7 years, for example, you got $1 million.
Which is true, kind of.
Or you got a great income stream. You decide. And it's just not true. Which is not true at all.
It's half true.
Yeah.
You have $1 million in your income value that you can't access.
Right. But if you decided halfway through or at any point that actually you just wanted this to be an accumulation product, I don't want that income value. I want to take this, in your example, this $500,000 and put it somewhere else. Well, and you're hoping it grew to $1 million, like your pseudo advisor said. It's just, you're going to be very disappointed.
Let's add one layer and then we'll move on. These guaranteed annuities, we're kind of being negative on these guaranteed annuities. That's what it feels like to me, but I don't want you to feel like we are being negative.
They're great for the right thing.
Yeah. You just have to really understand what it is that they'll do. And unfortunately, too many people just kind of hook, line, sinker, buy one of these thinking it's going to do something it won't.
If you want to make your own pension, you can't beat these.
From a guaranteed standpoint, you certainly cannot.
Yeah.
However, one thing that we have to add, most of these guaranteed annuity products are going to come with fees.
True.
So your guaranteed income is going to come with fees. So not only is your surrender value not growing at the guaranteed rate, okay, that's the income value growing at the guaranteed rate, your surrender value is also going to be negatively impacted by fees associated with, they call it a rider fee. The income is a rider and it comes with a fee. Typically they're, 1%, maybe as high as 2%. In some variable products, they might even be higher than that. Yeah. So you just have to understand your surrender value is going to be negatively impacted by fees, and it's not going to grow at the guaranteed rate.
Yeah. Now, all that's true. It's not going to grow at the same rate, but it is going to grow, right?
Hopefully.
We should tell that into the story. Yeah, it's not going to grow at a guaranteed 10%. No guarantees there.
Yeah.
It's going to grow whatever the index performs at.
Minus the fee.
Minus the fee. So we don't want to go too far with this point and say that your $500,000 is still only worth $500,000 7 or 10 years later. That could be true.
Of all the products that we're going to talk about, it's most true of these products. Because these will typically have the highest fees, and the guaranteed growth is not happening on the surrender value. So if you're worried about your money not growing, it's most likely to not grow in the product that has the highest fees. Correct. And that would be the guaranteed annuity. And that's not a bad thing. The reason it has the highest fees is because it's guaranteed. So there's no such thing as a free lunch, right? If you want the guarantee, then you have to be willing to pay the fees.
And this is exactly why we're doing this, right? We're talking about 3 different categories of products because we don't want to do a video on one product necessarily right now, because all of these has their own merit. They all can make sense in different scenarios. What we're trying to do is make sure that people understand how they work and which one might be the best fit for them. That's the whole point.
That's exactly right. All right, let's talk about the last category, and then we'll wrap this video up. Again, we're not going to go into specifics on actual products just yet, but we will be rolling out specific reviews of products that fit into all 3 of these buckets. The most complex or the most complicated of the annuity products that we have on here are going to be the performance, so we'll just say the performance-based annuities. So these are annuities that are designed to generate an income. Okay, so they are still designed to generate an income. The income is not going to be guaranteed. That means a couple things. Typically, if you're not going to have guarantees attached to the income, it means that your fees should be less than the fees on the guaranteed annuity. Okay, that should be self-explanatory. And if you're working or looking at a product that has higher fees than the guaranteed annuity, you're probably looking at the wrong product, because it shouldn't.
Square peg, round hole. At that point.
It shouldn't have higher fees because you're not getting guarantees. So it's performance-based, which means what, Aaron?
It means that the results you're going to get, the returns you're going to get, whether it's on the income value, like we talked about the 2 buckets earlier, anything is going to be based on how the underlying basis of the returns performs.
Yeah.
How did it do that year? What happened in the environment that year to dictate what your returns are? It's based on performance.
A lot of time they're going to be market linked.
Yeah. So an index linked to the market. Yeah.
So if the market's performing well, these are going to perform well. If the market's not performing well, then there's not going to be much performance there. They are performance based, which means the annuity company, the insurance company, is not guaranteeing you some rate of return. But because they're not guaranteeing you some rate of return, oftentimes you are going to have the opportunity to earn more than the guaranteed option, which again, that's self-explanatory. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Without risk, there is no return. If you're willing to take more risk, you should be compensated with a higher return. If you're taking more risk and you're not getting a higher return, then you're doing it wrong. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah.
At least I'm not talking about 1 year in time. I'm talking about the law of averages, right?
From a planning perspective.
From a planning perspective, over a long period of time, the person who takes more risk should be, if they're doing it responsibly, should be rewarded with a higher return. And that's what's happening here in these performance-based annuities. The company's giving you the ability to take a little bit more risk. Typically, you're going to see lower fees because of that. And you're going to have the opportunity to out-earn the guaranteed payouts. And of all the annuity types on this list, the performance-based annuities are going to give you the best opportunity to have an increasing income. So going back to the guarantees, most of these guaranteed annuity payouts, the income is what it is. We talked about that 500 growing to $1 million, and then you get some payout rate.
Flat rate, yep.
But then it's the same thing forever.
Yep.
So every single year, inflation erodes away your purchasing power. There are some performance-based annuities where once you start your income, the income is guaranteed once it starts. It's not guaranteed what it's going to be up front, but once you turn it on, it's guaranteed to stay where it started. That's a kind of a weird sentence, but
yeah, I think what you said is perfect. I mean, it's in your example, and this may be a mistake to say because it's a different product, but your example earlier was $500,000 grew to $1 million in the income value, and then the income was 3.5% of that, or 35 grand.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of annuities just say for the rest of your life, you're getting 35K.
Correct.
That's what you get. But there are opportunities in some products to see that 35K increase each year.
Yep. By the performance of the market. And most of those products are going to be found in this performance-based bucket. So we help people and specialize in all 3 of these different types of products because there's no one solution that is right for every single person. It all depends on your goals. And it's the same message that we say when people come to us for specialties in life insurance, cash value life insurance. There's no one product.
Right.
There's no one solution. What's your goals? What are you trying to do? And then let's talk about maybe the 3 best solutions based on your goals.
And let me say on that note too, obviously this hopefully is assumed, but just to be crystal clear, all of your money shouldn't be in annuities of any kind. So there's a place for bonds. There's a place for other types of vehicles. We definitely don't want to communicate or have any misconceptions or misunderstandings that bonds are bad, annuities are good. You should put all of your money that is in bonds now into one of these 3 things. We're definitely not saying that. This is for a portion of the money, and what that portion is, or that percentage, that ratio varies from person to person.
We've been told all along that we should diversify. Most people think that means you need a good mix of stocks and bonds.
Yeah.
And I would say, well, how are you diversifying away from interest rate risk? You can't just have all of your safe money in bonds and say that you're diversifying away interest rate risk, because you're not.
Sure.
Because all those bonds are going to be affected the same, more or less, from an interest rate perspective, because they're all going to be inversely correlated to interest rates. So this is a great way to take interest rate risk off the table for a portion of the money.
Yeah, diversify risk, diversify taxes, diversify where your income comes from. Diversification is across the board.
So let's level with you here for a second. If you're watching this video and you've seen an annuity illustration, or you think, hey, that sounds really good, and you don't know where to turn, or if you're already working with someone and you're hearing things like this product's going to give you a guaranteed 10% rate of return every single year, I'm going to tell you right now, you should reach out to us, because I almost guarantee you that's not how it's going to work. You're hearing half the story, or maybe you're hearing what you want to hear. And that's dangerous. So reach out to us. Go to our website, leveragedwm.com. Up at the top, you'll see a little, what is that called up there? The menu? Yeah. On the menu, you'll see book a meeting. You can go there. You can let us know what you're hoping to discuss with us, and we can chat about this, see if it's an opportunity to put you in a better position, or if an annuity is going to put you in a worse position. No matter what, our philosophy here is we want to give the best education to our clients and potential clients to put you in a position to have enough information and education to make a decision you feel great about. And so no matter what you decide after talking with us, it could be those guys are a bunch of jerks and I never want to talk to them again. Fine. That's fine.
I doubt it.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It could be that you decide, hey, an annuity is not for me. Great. If we get you to the point where you feel like an annuity is not for me, we feel like we've done our job. If you get to a point where you feel like, I do want an annuity, or I want a life insurance policy, or I want to talk to you guys about financial planning, if we've given you enough information to make a educated decision that you feel great about, we feel like we've done our job. That's the reason we've built our practice.
Your money, your decision, but I think we can all agree it's really hard to get kind of transparent, black and white information.
Totally.
And so that's our goal.
So you should go to our website, leveragedwm.com. You'll see it up at the top there in the menu. Book a meeting with us. Or you can just send us a question through the website. There's an opportunity to do that as well. I believe that's on the Contact Us page. Yep. Either way, we are here to help you, and be looking out for the next couple videos that are going to be coming out over the next several months, where we will go into deep dives on specific products that make it onto this list. Until next time, take care.